Hi, I'm Candie Cooper, and really, I never met a surface that I didn't want to turn into jewelry, which is why I'm so excited to show you how to cut up old cookie tin lids and turn them into these super fun brooches. I've mixed a little bit of filigree in here, a little bit of leather, a little bit of chain, a lot of love, and come up with these super cute floral brooches, perfect for jean jackets. So first I want to kind of show you how to cut up a cookie tin so that we can cut more precise shapes with these dies. So first things first, safety first. Whenever you're working with this like sharp steel metal, you want to kind of take some safety precautions and just put on some work gloves. I like using these thin ones because I can still work around with my tools. So you've got your cookie tin. I mean, really, like, just go to the thrift store and just start hunting, and you can find these things for like $1/4 half the time. And then I'm cutting them with what are called aviation snips. You're not gonna get a really precise cut with these because they're bulky, but you can chomp right through that rolled edge of the lid, which is what I love. And now, this makes it so you can fit it easily through your die cutting tool, which I'm gonna show you next. So, I've got my die cutting tool. I've already got some pieces that I've been cutting up. And let's cut our first layer. So you'll lay your, sometimes it's handy, this is cool because these are magnetic, so they stick right to your tin. It's kind of handy to go ahead and chomp down a little bit more to make it thin so it fits right through your, on the shuttle. And then now, we're ready for round one. So we're just gonna put this on, put your piece of tin on top. And one thing I found when cutting tin with these dies is that it helps to actually shim it with a piece of cardstock or a folded piece of paper like I did and push it on through. And that pop is totally normal, but when you pull it out, voila, you've got your first little perfectly cut shape, which I'm like, I love like how instant this is. So you're gonna cut some of those, and then you're gonna go ahead and cut some flower pieces too. And I've gone ahead and got some ready here. You can see, again, super precise. So now I wanna go ahead and cut the leather pieces too. Don't really need work gloves for that. We're gonna switch over to a little softer material. I've just got some basic leather from the craft store, but you could cut up old wallets or bags or whatever you want. And this is gonna be the back part of our flower. And you might want to experiment and use felt or, you know, denim would be really cute. And for that layer, I didn't have to use the paper shim. It's more kind of using the tool how it was traditionally meant to be used. And then we need one more smaller piece with a circle. And this is going to be our pin back. Trust me, this will all make sense once we start putting it together. So we'll just go ahead and cut another and roll it on through. And you can see how I kind of like funneled those stacks together. Sometimes if the cutting pad starts butting against the wheel, it won't go through. So you kind of have to just push it all through and then roll it. Okay, so now let's start putting our layers together. This is my favorite part. So I've gone ahead and gotten one ready here. And you can see where I've got my piece of tin, I've got my leather, and then I painted this flower piece. You can leave it natural like this too, but it's all about contrast and seeing how the layers like work together. For these little flowers, it helps to carefully kind of pull each of the petals up and kind of form them so that they have a little curve that echoes the curve of your filigree piece. And that way it kind of sits nicer together. Now we need to punch some holes so that we can rivet these together. I'm using a paper craft punch for this, but you could also drill them with a drill press or whatever you have, you know, that you like to use to punch holes. The thing about it is you want your hole punch size to match the diameter of your compression rivet. You can get these rivets in the leather section of the craft store. They're just called compression rivets, but you want to punch through all of the layers that you want to rivet. And the nice thing about those rivets too is you can stack a lot of stuff up to make your piece. So now I have to use my filigree piece on top to kind of mark my hole for the tin piece. And it's okay if you kind of get your holes off-centered, because you're not going to see that little bit of shift with all your layers. And then last is our leather piece. And obviously, like if you're into mixed media, you already know that you can paint your leather, you can sand your tin to add a little distressing. Filigree comes in all different colors, shapes, and I already see where I forgot one other little tip, which this is just a bead cone, but I went ahead and just kind of flattened it up, and you can even punch holes in that. This hole punch tool is funny because it punches one size on this side, one size on that side. So I have to check twice. There we go. And so now all you're going to do is stack up all these pieces with your rivet. So I've got one ready here that I actually die cut even another little flower shape right here. But just go ahead and put this part of your compression rivet down on your work surface and then just start stacking it up. So we'll start with that one. Then we're going to go with some red. That's a really old tin. I was amazed I could get it through the die cutter. And then we'll put this guy in. And this one. And then you're going to top it off with your cap. And you just kind of want all of this to snap together. So now let's rivet it and put it on a steel bench block here, super easy. And then you're just gonna use the flat part, or you can use the rounded part of a chasing hammer. You can also get an eyelet setter. I'm keeping it simple today and just gonna use the round part of my chasing hammer to tap this down. Rivets come in all different metal colors too, so you can make it match your metal piece. Now to finish it off, I've gone ahead and cut a little slit in a pin back, or in a piece of leather, excuse me, and that is where my pin back will sit. And then you're just gonna put a little bit of, I'm using hot glue, but you could also use like a multi-purpose adhesive. Set that in place. Pull up your pin back. And then just set this pin in. And you want it so the catch faces down. And then you're just gonna press that flap right over the top. And that gives you a really neat and tidy, kind of look for the back of your pin back. And then if you look at these finished ones, I went ahead and added chain. You could add beaded dangles, you could add charms, more broken jewelry. But I love how you can take that tin that looks like nothing and turn it into a great little brooch.